Believe it or not, man, there are almost 2 million people every single freaking day that watch The View. I almost can't even wrap my head around that, right? But it is true. People watch this stuff. I mean, lots and lots of people watch this. And I can only imagine if they're watching it, they believe it and they agree with a lot of things that are being said there. And that's about as scary a thing as I think is possible in the year 2024. I mean, they just did a segment where one of their pet Republicans, Alyssa Farah Griffin, finally just says what common sense people are thinking. And the propagandists in charge of this circus, they did not like it. They lose their minds. And all she said was, these trials are helping Donald Trump. And it's true. I mean, if you believe any of the polling, both nationally and in the swing states, Joe Biden is getting crushed. I mean, nothing in the world is going right for the poor guy. And just wait until people find out that he's about to start flying Palestinians into the country. I mean, once that takes off, no one's going to care about a Trump trial. Democrats will be trying to break the guy out of jail himself.
Well, as it turns out, there are a lot of major issues happening in the country, around the world right now. U.S. abortion rights being stripped, nationwide campus protests over the Israel-Hamas war, and whose criminal trial, just to name a few. So, with all of this going on, can people even navigate? Because it feels like it's just like a media blitz of everything constantly all the time.
Mm-hmm. So I am in such a good mood today, and I hate to raise this point, but I have to. We've got to ring some alarm bells. The election's 7 months out. I don't trust polling. I do agree with that. I think you can take it on aggregate, and if the polls on aggregate are to be believed, Donald Trump very well may be president in 7 months. And here's what I fear. My initial thought was him being on trial and in a courtroom and not on the campaign trail was going to hurt him. I'm starting to think that it doesn't in the same way, because he's not out there saying crazy things. He's not saying immigrants are poisoning our blood. He's actually has to kind of sit there silently with his hands folded. So what the media, or what people are seeing when they turn on the media, not that crazy timepiece we read yesterday about all the horrifying things he's going to do in a second term. They see violence and they see protests on college campuses. They see young people calling Joe Biden Genocide Joe, and it scares people, whether it's you're from a law and order perspective, whether you're on the fence about Biden. I think there's a real reality right now that Joe Biden could pick up swing voters. He could pick up moderate Republicans and suburban women.
And why are you in a good mood again? What was the reason she
That's not why she's in a good mood. He could pick up all the demographics you generally need, but lose young progressives and lose the election to Donald Trump. That's where we are right now.
You said you were in a good mood.
No, and I said I'm sorry. I know, I'm sorry to bring the mood down with my take, but I'm very worried.
But what's the good mood about?
I'm really worried, she says. And just think about what these people actually worry about. They worry that when their fellow Americans turn on their TV or read the news, that they'll actually see how freaking effed the entire country and the world is, instead of some out of context, pointless reporting about some misunderstood thing that Donald Trump may or may not have said, right? And because of that, because that's what they see, they'll make a different decision than the typical limousine liberal on The View when they vote in November. This is what these people worry about. I mean, nothing tells me more about who those people are than that right there. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, how do you even explain that, right? I mean, that tells you almost as much as the fact that the other ladies on the show, they just cannot handle hearing it. I mean, they don't want to hear it. And here's the thing. Griffin has an interesting point about Donald Trump having to stay silent and not say anything, but that's not true. That's not what this is. The guy is still campaigning. The guy is still out there, and he's still saying things that can still be taken out of context. But that, I think, in my opinion, is actually what's helping. People are finally starting to see through the noise. Everyone who can still form their own thoughts knows that what Donald Trump says and what the media said he says are not the same thing. Bloodbath, for example. I mean, it's a pretty egregious one. I mean, the world knows that he did not call for a bloodbath.
I know. I thought we were going to get something different.
I was waiting too. I was like, come on, bring in the good.